Most people don't escape the system. They improve their position inside it. They get better jobs. They earn more. They upgrade their lifestyle. They tell themselves they're moving forward. And technically, they are. Just not toward freedom. Toward a more expensive version of the same cage. That distinction is everything. There are two types of people in the world. People who fight the system out loud. They complain. They post. They explain to anyone who'll listen why everything is unfair. And then there are people who say nothing. They don't argue with the system. They don't broadcast their frustration. They simply exit. Quietly. Deliberately. Without announcement. Those second people, they're the ones who end up owning things. Niccolò Machiavelli wrote something most people read and immediately misunderstand. He said, "Never attempt to win by force what can be won by deception." Most people read that as a manipulation tactic. But it's actually a description of how power really moves in the world. Force is loud. And this kind of deception isn't about lying. It's about strategy. About moving in ways the system was never designed to detect. The wealthy don't escape the system by fighting it. They escape it by understanding it better than the people who built it. Here's what the system actually is. And I need you to really hear this. The system is not a conspiracy. It doesn't need to be. A system built on logic doesn't need intent. It just needs participants. And right now, it has billions of them. The logic is simple. You need money. You trade time for money. You pay taxes before you spend. You spend on things that feel necessary. You repeat this until you're 65. Then, if you were responsible, you get just enough to survive without working. That's not a plan for freedom. That's a schedule designed by someone else, for someone else's benefit. But here's the part almost nobody talks about. The system was never designed to trap you. It was designed to run smoothly. And you are a gear in that machine. A gear that works best when it stays in its lane. When it shows up on time. When it doesn't ask inconvenient questions. When it confuses stability with safety. The wealthy know this. And instead of getting angry about it, they do something cold and deliberate. They stop being a gear. They become the person who manufactures them. That shift is the entire game. Pause for a second. Because what I'm about to say is going to feel obvious once you hear it, but almost nobody acts on it. The system takes from employees and gives to owners. Not because owners are better people, because the rules were written that way. An employee earns money, pays taxes, then spends. An owner earns money, spends on the business, then pays taxes on what remains. Same government, same economy, radically different outcomes. Rockefeller didn't escape the system by earning more. He escaped it by changing his relationship with money entirely. He stopped asking, "What can I earn?" and started asking, "What can I own that keeps earning without me?" That question alone is worth more than any salary negotiation you'll ever have. Now here's the psychological layer that most financial conversations completely miss. Wealthy people don't escape loudly. They don't announce they're quitting. They don't post about their plans. They don't explain their strategy to people who never asked. They operate in what Machiavelli called strategic opacity. You reveal only what's useful. Everything else stays protected. Not out of arrogance, out of survival. Because the moment you announce you're trying to escape, something interesting happens. Your peers start doubting you. Your family starts worrying. Your employer starts watching you differently. And your own mind starts counting risks louder than rewards. Silence isn't passive. It's armor. The wealthy built what they built in the quiet hours, not in the hours they complained. Not while waiting for conditions to be perfect. In the margins of a life that still looked completely ordinary from the outside. They didn't announce a transformation. They executed one. And by the time the world noticed, it was already too late to stop them. Drop this in the comments right now. Say, "I build in silence." Because that's the first real shift. From performing ambition to actually executing it. Now let's go deeper. Because there's a layer to this most people never reach. The reason most people stay inside the system isn't because they lack talent. It isn't because they lack information. You're watching this video right now. The information exists. It always has. People stay inside the system Because escaping it requires you to stop being the person the system trained you to be. Think about what that means. The system spent 12, sometimes 16 years teaching you one thing above everything else: how to perform for an institution that grades you, ranks you, and tells you your worth. And that programming doesn't disappear when you graduate. It follows you into every job, every salary negotiation, every moment you wait for someone else to tell you you're ready. The system survives on one belief: that you cannot function without it. The wealthy rejected that belief early. Not loudly, not dramatically, just quietly, in the privacy of their own thinking. They decided the belief was wrong. And that decision changed everything that followed. Machiavelli didn't write about power for kings. He wrote for anyone willing to see the world without the comfortable stories layered over it. The wealthy didn't get lucky. They got clear. They saw the system for exactly what it was. And then, without drama or announcement, they built a door. Most people never find it. Not because it's hidden, because they were never looking. You just started looking. If this opens something in your thinking, don't stop here. Because what you've heard in this video is only the surface. There are deeper layers to psychology, power, and wealth that can't be covered in one video. Not because they don't exist, because most people aren't ready to hear them. That's why most stay average. If you're not one of them, subscribe. Every video on this channel is designed to show you what the system never wanted you to see. No fluff, no noise, just strategy. Most people will watch this and return to the system. A few won't. Decide which one you are.